welcome back to the show. I'm Serena, your host from Life Between Weights, and I'm sitting here with Jackie. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Jackie Wallenstein. I met Serena through a running training program, and I'm excited to share my experience with everyone today.
Yeah, her training program whooped my ass, to be completely honest with you. I went twice, and I feel like the 2 times that I went, I did fairly well.
You rocked it.
Thank you. The race that we ran to, I didn't do too terribly, and I enjoyed myself, but running is just not my forte. I think I've mentioned that several times on the podcast. It's just that it's just not, I love to do it when I'm doing it, but it's talking myself into doing it that's the hard part. All right, so how long have you been running for?
So I want to preface this by saying I was the kid who did not do the mile run in gym class. I could not do the mile run in gym class. I have exercise-induced asthma, and I thought it could get me out of everything. But about 11 years ago, 10 years ago, when my oldest daughter was about to have her first birthday, I just said, this has to go. So I started with a Couch to 5K plan and ran my first 5K in October of 2010. 2009, October of 2009, and I was determined to run the whole time. It was the Gobbling Gallop in Fairfax Corner, and I finished in about a 14.5-minute mile, but I didn't stop once, so I was really excited.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But after that, I was hooked, and so I kept running. And then everyone kept saying, oh, if you can do a 5K, you can do a 10K. If you can do a 10K, you can do a half marathon. If you can do a half marathon, you can do a full marathon. And so here I am today.
And I think that's amazing, and especially how you found that thing that, like you said, grabbed you. And for some people, running doesn't grab them, and it's other different things that they do. But it's so important that when you find that one thing that you love, to, pun intended, to run with it.
Absolutely. And running is fun because it's my time for me.
Yeah.
So I've made a lot of great friends. I'm part of the Ashburn Moms Run This Town group. So I have a lot of friends all over Eastern Loudoun County who I run with at different days of the week, different times of the day. And sometimes we even hang out in street clothes. But, it's nice because it's the time when nobody can bother me. I have 2 kids and a husband who are fabulous people, but sometimes I just need to focus on me, and running lets me do that.
And I love that. I love that so much. We're starting a project about how to use self-care, and that would be a perfect thing for that, because I'm really big on self-care. Everybody says you can't pour from an empty cup.
Right.
So taking care of yourself is very, very important, and different people do it different ways. That's awesome to know that.
Absolutely.
Running is your...
Making time for it is important. So I get up at 4:40 several days a week, sometimes for running, sometimes for body pump or whatever's happening at the gym. But we also run as a family too. So
That's
now
cool.
my daughters are 10 and almost 8, and they've both done over a dozen 5Ks.
That's amazing.
My husband runs as well. He's done more marathons than me, but we all run together, and that's important to me because I want my kids to value being healthy.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It's just a part of their lives now. It's just the way we are.
And that's amazing. My son wants to play soccer, so I posted yesterday in one of those groups, soccer or baseball, so I'm trying to find that for him now. And I'm going to make the youngest one, who swears that the only marathon she's ever going to run is Netflix. And she's 8, by the way, and we don't do that, so I don't really know where she gets that idea from. But my oldest is going to start boxing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I'm really excited for her, like you said, just to make sure that they're active and taking their health as a priority.
Yeah, it's different than when we were kids. When I was a kid, I came home after school, I did my homework, and then I was outside for 3 hours until it got dark. And in the summers, it was even later. We were allowed to stay out, and we were playing kickball and soccer and running around the neighborhood, biking to the library. And that's just the way it was. Well, these days, kids, my husband and I both work, so it's very much, and then we're going from activity to activity. You have to get dinner on the table, shower, into bed. So it's just a very planned active time is a lot more important than I think it was when we were kids.
Yeah, I agree. And I was outside as a kid too. I played outside with my friends and stuff, but we didn't do sports or activities like that as kids because both of my parents worked and didn't really have the time, and it wasn't a requirement for us. And so now I'm debating making it a requirement for our kids, you know, just to kind of get them to find something that they love and that they want to do. So even if it's not like, you know, I'm going to go to college on a basketball scholarship, that's not what I'm after.
Right.
But just the passion for moving your body.
Exactly.
Okay, so if you had a chance to start your running career all over again, what would you do differently today?
I would say I wish I had started earlier. I wish that a teacher or a coach or a friend would have said to me, doesn't matter what pace you go, like just try to run. Because I wonder if I would have loved it as much then, you know, instead of losing, you know, 30 years of my life where I could have been running. Because I think back, you know, I didn't do any professional sports in high school or anything. I didn't do any teams through the school, and I just think, oh, well, I could have run a lap around the track, but nobody really encouraged me to do that.
Pushed you to.
Exactly.
Yeah. I wish now, because I grew up in Saratoga Springs, New York, and their teams are really, really good, and they travel, you know, the nation, and they do all kinds of stuff. And now that I'm into fitness and into like sports and stuff, I wish that as a teenager I was a part of that. So I want to get the kids to do it too. And this one is kind of made me think about what you would think about. If you could be remembered for like one sentence, if you could summarize one sentence, what would it be?
Let's see. I would say Jackie ran her happy pace.
I love it. Oh man, I'm gonna turn that into like a little meme kind of thing, and that's gonna be your cover art for this.
Love it.
I love it. I'm gonna grab a pen. A different color than I wrote everything else with, I think. And Jackie ran her happy pace. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and as far as your running career goes, what do you feel most proud of?
Let's see. I think two things. I think number one, I'm just proud that I've gotten my kids into running and that we've gotten them through a bunch of races, and really I've been working on making sure to keep running fun for them so that they don't get stressed about their pace. So making sure that they're having fun when we're doing a race or when we're just out in the neighborhood. But I also think I'm proud of myself for signing up for another marathon. I've done 4 marathons.
That's awesome.
The first one was my first one, and your first one is always going to be crazy. And my second one was my best one. And then the third and fourth ones were very mentally fatiguing and then physically fatiguing for me. So this one, I'm just taking it with I'm going to go have fun. I'm running it with a friend. It's going to be a great time. So, but I said I would never do it again. So never only lasted a year. So I'm just proud of myself for just doing it and trying.
Yeah, and that's so awesome. I had another runner tell me the same thing, that every time you run a marathon, you swear to yourself that you're never going to do it again, but you always do. Now, how do you get your kids to run? Like, how do you keep it fun for them? I had so the kids did a running group at the YMCA back in Somerville, Kids on the Run. And my oldest enjoyed it when she was there, but it was a fight to get her there, and the other two didn't enjoy it at all.
Yeah, so I guess it helps that they see both of us running all the time. So it started as a be like mommy and daddy thing. We used to do a program in Brambleton. They have a track program on Sundays. And the kids did that for a couple years, but now they actually run at school with their friends after school. Our elementary school has, what is it called? Running with the Stars. So there's a bunch of schools in the Ashburn area that participate, but they have, they practice after school twice a day. My kids are there anyway because they're at CASA. they're doing it with their peers. The coaches are fantastic and really help them just, make sure it's fun. They're not racing each other. They're just doing their best. And then they have a race that's only open to the group. So it's not like the race we did. It's a race that's actually streets closed and everything, but it's just for the Running with the Stars group. And they all get out there and cheer for each other. So yeah, it's the kids, and we don't force them.
Yeah.
But we have taken them to some really fun races for them. So when we ran the Philadelphia Marathon and half marathon last year, they had a kids run, and the kids got to participate. So it was a big run for them and a big race. So I think just mixing it up and not forcing them is what really helps.
Have to try that, because I do think that they would like it if they would give it an honest try.
Right.
And if you could choose one song to play every time you walked into a room for the rest of your life, what would it be?
One song to play for the rest of my life. I would say it would be "You Can't Stop the Beat" from the Hairspray soundtrack.
I love that. And then didn't they do that on the movie Trolls too?
That one was "Stop the Feeling," but
okay.
"You Can't Stop the Beat." It's just such a happy song, and it's got some good messaging in it.
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of Broadway show tunes, so
that's awesome. I like that. I was telling my husband last night, I said, I don't know about this question, like how it would be answered, because to me it was a very strange question. I'm not a huge music person, and even when I run, I don't listen to music.
Right.
I listen to other podcasts.
Okay.
And so he was like, well, what would you pick? I said, well, I don't think I could pick a song. I think I'd pick an artist, which would just be the Beatles, because the Beatles make me happy. So
nice.
So I'm glad. I like that answer. And if you could run anywhere in the world, where would it be and why?
That's tough. One day I'd like to go run around Hawaii, around the beaches. I've never been to Hawaii, and I think it would be really cool to just go somewhere and explore and be close to the water, so it's pretty flat there. So
yeah, because then you have you're out and you're in the environment. So my next question was going to be what are your ideal running conditions, but the answer to that question
well, ideal running conditions are pretty much this morning, which it's about 45 degrees outside, no wind, clear sky, so that's pretty ideal for running. The cooler, you don't want it too cold, but cool enough that I can run in a long sleeve shirt and pants and not get overheated. So that's more. So I probably won't find that in Hawaii, but
but it would be beautiful views.
Absolutely.
And you could be water level and then up on those cliffs and looking down. Absolutely beautiful. How would you explain, okay, your kids aside, because they know and they watch you, but how would you explain a marathon and marathon running to a kid and why you do it?
Great question. I would say it's like reading a book. So sometimes it's hard to get started. You have to learn how to read first, so you have to learn how to run. Sometimes it's really hard to get started when you're reading a book because the first couple pages are really slow. And same thing when you're running a marathon. You don't want to go out too fast. You want to take it easy when you start a race. But then as you get into it, your body gets used to it. Your mind gets used to the plot of a book. And then you just get on a roll, and then you just can't wait to finish. You want to get to the end as fast as you can. So that's
awesome. That's a good analogy.
Thanks.
And I already asked what the perfect running day is to you. And what are some things that you've learned to love about running?
So I love the people. I've run here. I've run when we've gone to visit my husband's family in Massachusetts. I love the people because runners are just friendly people. You always get a wave or a smile or a shrug, but something to acknowledge each other. People are really polite, like they're going to pass you. And so I love the people. I love the friends I've made, as I mentioned before. It's just when you're running for long distance races, you get a lot of training miles in, so you get to know people. All bets are off when you're in a training run for 3 hours because everything is just up for discussion. You can just get it all out of your system. I love that it keeps me healthy. I even became a cardio junkie for a while, so I know you don't love cardio. I was a cardio junkie, so one of my training programs I tried that was running 6 days a week.
Wow.
And that was just, there was no time for anything else. So now I've tried to balance myself out. So been doing lifting and body pumps so that I am getting that strength training in. And I find that it helps me be a stronger runner because I'm building up my muscle. And then, I think as Survivor said, it's the eye of the tiger, it's the fear of the fight. I love race day. It's just fun. It's exciting. It's nerves and
adrenaline.
happy, all together at once. And then just crossing that finish line is just awesome because you're just proud of your accomplishments.
How many race t-shirts would you say you have?
That's a great question. So I used to have a lot of race t-shirts. Now some of the races will let you opt out of them. I tend to opt out of race shirts because, no offense race directors, but the quality is not always the best ever, and so they're not great to run in. But I probably still have at least 20 race shirts in my drawers.
I have the one that we got from the 5K that I did with you, and I really appreciated that one because it's like the dry fit instead of a cotton t-shirt, which is so much easier to run in.
It is so much better to run in.
So tell me, because like we said at the beginning, we met through your Couch to 5K program. How did you come to lead one of those? What was your experience in that, and what did you take away from being the leader of that group?
Great question. So I have a coworker, Molly, who is active in the Reston Runners, Road Runners, I forget what they're called, and she leads a women's training program, and she's led it for 20 years. And they take everyone from literally standing up off the couch to people who are trying to get faster, and they have over 300 women who participate. At the end of their season, they have a race that is just for women. And last June, I was able to participate in the race part. I didn't do the running program, but the race, and we took our girls. So I took my girls, and a friend came with me, and we loved how the race wasn't over until the last person crossed the finish line.
Oh, okay. That's
at a lot of races I go to, as I'm coming around the finishing loop, they're announcing the winners because people are fast and they're fast and they want to get out of there, which is respectable. But this race didn't end, and everybody in that training program was standing there cheering for her. A couple people went back to finish with her, and it just you got all teary-eyed at the finish line watching that, and my kids got to watch that, and it was just really special. And the Ashburn Moms Run This Town group, I was member number 7, so now we're over 1,500, I think. And I wanted to bring some of that love back to the group because it's a great group. And as I mentioned, lots of great friends through the group, but we're big now. So now there's little mini unofficial groups that happen. So, you run with these people, you run with these people. You don't find as many new people coming as often. So I knew that I wasn't seeing 1,500 people posting or 1,500 people coming out to run every week. So I wanted to find some of them and get them excited about running.
You got me excited.
I know. So we got a great group. We had I think there was 10 of us in the group who finished the race, which was really exciting. We had about 12 who started the program with us. There was some illnesses, some kid drama, some injuries along the way. But, when Teresa, the last person from our group, came through the finish line, we all went back to finish that race with her. And I just wanted to bring that back, and now watching some of the people grow. Ashley has now done a 10K, and
that's awesome.
We're trying to talk her into a half. But new friends, I wanted to meet some new people, so it was just, I figured it was worth a shot.
Yeah, and I feel like that's really important, and especially with people who aren't really into, so my own case, I'm not into running, and I was new in town, and I was looking for some friends to make, and I'm sure that if I didn't let the running beat me, I would have stuck with it and made those friends. So that the fact that you're doing that, not just for the running, but for the camaraderie as well, is really awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was important. It was hard. It was the first time we did something like this. So we learned a lot of lessons, and hopefully we'll get some enthusiasm and be able to repeat it in the future. But, it was just, we had we got some people off the couch running, and that was the goal. So.
And then weekly, you were doing a different thing as well with the group. I remember the first time I showed up, you had a running coach there.
Yes.
And then there was a exchange of maybe unused running.
So we tried to pull some different elements in, and again, this was modeled off the Reston program. They have a speaker every week who talks about different elements of running. There's a lot that goes into running that you don't realize. It's not just put on a pair of shoes and get outside. You want to have the right shoes. That's important. We had a podiatrist come and talk to us about that.
That's awesome.
We had...
I was just checking out your shoes.
Oh! Yeah, these ones are pretty grungy from the...
It's the color pulled me.
And then, we had a running coach come and he talked about your form because it's really important. The little things you don't even realize you're doing when you're running. Where are you swinging your arms and how you're using your energy. We talked about what to wear. You don't want to wear a cotton t-shirt.
I think I wore a pair of sweatpants and a cotton t-shirt the first time I showed up.
She might have. But what you want to wear, what do you wear in winter when it's cold? How do you layer appropriately so that, you don't want to go out and run in a poofy winter coat because you will overheat in about 5 seconds. So hydration, nutrition, what do you eat before you run, after you run, while you're running? And then we do, every once in a while, I'll throw it up on the MRTT page that we're going to do a clothing swap. So clean out your closets, because we all go through phases and, oh, I love these pants. Oh, I don't love these pants. And they're just sitting there. So we do that every once in a while where you just get to come and it's free and you bring clothes and you take whatever you want to try on. Or I like this running belt. I don't like this running belt. So just trying to get everyone really prepped for learning more about running.
Yeah, and because you were talking about how your like body pump and lifting and stuff is helping you run. That's one thing that when I was doing my personal training certification that we talked about a lot, that the running power, you don't just have to have strong legs, but all that power comes from the core. And then for it to be a well-rounded runners, a lot of runners are just runners.
Yes.
But it's more effective to run with a rounded training program.
Yes. So I'm trying that this time around. This is the first time I've really focused hardcore. I did a nutrition program, and part of that was strength training. And so just continuing to keep the journey going.
Yeah. And how do you feel yourself for your runs?
Great question. So I use Nun. N-U-U-N, in my water. It's an electrolyte tablet. So that is what I keep in my water bottle during my runs. For a longer run, I have tried everything from Jelly Belly sports beans, Honey Stinger chews. In the olden days, I used Goose, but now they're not right for me. I've done peanut butter and jelly cut up into little pieces, so it really varies. This time around is a little different for me because with my nutrition plan, I'm doing intermittent fasting. So usually my runs are in the morning before I would start eating.
Yeah.
So I've just been going out with the electrolyte water, but I haven't found any performance issues at all. Just having that electrolyte water to keep me hydrated while I'm out there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, how do you feel about after you run? How do you replenish your energies after a run, especially after marathon running?
So, funny thing is that right after a run or a race, I'm not usually super hungry. Probably the adrenaline and just the excitement of everything. But my favorite thing to eat after a race, once I've showered and cleaned up myself, is just like a turkey burger. I love to just have a turkey burger. With all my little toppings on it, and that and that's probably just the need to replenish the protein, a little bit of carbs, and all that.
I like it. So if you had to give tips to so for me, what kind of tips would you give to me in order to start a running I want to say regimen? When after the Lace Up for Learning, I was running 3 days a week, 3 miles at a time. And I was loving it. And I could totally talk myself into it. But then it started to get a little bit colder, so it would my excuse to not go out. And then I do not treadmill run. So when I go to the gym, I can't, I don't have the mind for it. And I want to start running again, especially now because it's starting to get nicer outside and everything, but I just talk myself out of it. So now, what kind of advice or tips to starting running would you give to somebody?
So I say a couple things. Number one, commitment. Sometimes to others helps. So connect with a friend and say, hey, do you want to meet at this time this day to go for a run? Because now you are hooked, because now someone else is depending on you. So that helps a lot.
That's good.
Another thing that is important is to switch up your route. So the same route can get very monotonous. You know, you can't just run the loop around my neighborhood. I know exactly where I'm going to hit 1 mile and where I'm going to hit 2 miles. I know that I'm really going to hate running up this hill, so try to switch up your route a little bit. We are very lucky here in Ashburn to have so many great places to run. I would say we are 90% sidewalk friendly. We've definitely got some random patches where there is no sidewalk and nobody understands why. And then switch up what your run is. So I run right now. I've been running 2 to 3 days per week. 1 day is a long run, so that for me is anywhere from 5 to 10 miles right now. But 1 day is speed work, and so I'm putting a little speed work in there. Just first of all, it's really good for your body. It changes. It's like a high intensity interval training, which is great. But the one I've been doing lately is just you do 30 seconds as hard as you can go, and then 30 seconds recover. And I start doing that at 10 reps, so it's just 10 minutes. You can do anything for 10 minutes. And then just do a couple more miles after that for an easy run. But putting that speed work in there, it's amazing to go back and look and see, wow, I was really fast for a minute. And it just helps change up your running, so changing things up a little bit.
Now, what about like when it's really warm out? So we talk about when it's cold outside, but how do you acclimate to like summertime running?
Heat is tough. Again, I have asthma, so it makes it even tougher. We go early. So we will be outside at 5 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes it's still really hot there, so hydration is really the key. Get whatever kind of water bottle you're comfortable with. By the summer, I'll have a hydration pack on my back that I run with because I need that much water. And I am someone who will drink her whole pack, and my husband will say, you drink too much, and I'm like, but I'm not drinking. I sweat a lot, so I'm sweating it all out. I don't have to stop and use the restroom along my run. Like, I am sweating all of that out.
I find it sits in my stomach.
See, I do little sips at a time, and so there's no sloshing in the stomach. I think I'm literally fueling my sweat glands at that point. So hydration is really important. And one thing that I've embraced just over the since January is that taking walk breaks is okay, and it's nothing to be sad about or ashamed about. Because I had, like I said, a couple of tough marathons where I put a lot of pressure on myself. This marathon is all about finishing with a smile. And so I've been doing interval training, so doing 3 1s, 3 minutes of running, 1 minute of walking, and I think that'll help a lot this summer too. But you're only racing your head. You know? And so, if you need to walk, then take a walk break and don't be passed out on the side of the sidewalk.
And that 3 minutes on, 1 minute off, I use that because you talked about that at one of the meetings that we had, and I used that in the 5K, and that was very helpful.
Yes.
It was very helpful. Last thing, just flew out of my brain. I wanted to ask you. So with your upcoming marathon, what are you doing now? Like, because you say you want to finish with a smile.
Yes.
And so a lot of that is mental. How do you take the mentality to just be, because I know like a lot of it is the physical aspect, that your mind is so much stronger than your body, and that your legs will give out before your mind does, and all of that. So how do you prepare mentally for a marathon?
Great question. So and I actually have a friend who's doing her first marathon in a month, so I've been kind of motivating her. So the first thing is that when you do a marathon, you count up and you count down. So after 3 miles, you say, yes, I did a 5K. And then after 6 miles, 10K. And then 10 miles and then a half. Well, once you hit the half marathon point, now you're counting down. And so that really helps just break up 26.2 and change, because the course is never exact. It's a lot of miles. And so breaking it into smaller pieces helps me mentally. This time, the other thing I did is that I actually signed up. I have a friend who, I'm doing the Chicago Marathon, and I have a friend who lives out there who is the one I'm running with. But I don't have any planning to do other than booking my flight and getting out there. I'm going to stay with her. I don't have to worry about a hotel or where we're going to eat or what we're going to do. And I have a tendency to be a bossy pants. And so when I'm traveling with others, I put it on myself, but I'll take all that on. This is when we're going to travel, and this is where we're going to stay. And so this time I have wiped all of that off of my plate.
That's awesome.
So that I'm not distracted, because I think that might have played into the mental games I had the last 2 times, because I was just worried about this. So this time I'm just not going to worry about anything, least of all me, because I know I can do it. I've done it 4 times. I can get through a marathon. So I just want to go out there and, like I said, finish with a smile on my face.
And that is so awesome. And would that be your takeaway then from running in general?
Yes, running should be, I have a lot of friends who are focused on speed. I have a husband who's focused on speed, and I was focused on speed for a long time, and it was all about getting faster and beating this time. And you end up beating yourself up, and that's not why I started running. I started running to do 2 things: to be a healthier person and to set a good example for my kids. And what kind of example was I setting if I was calling because I was upset and crying during the race because I was going to miss my goal time? That's not what my kids need to hear. That just makes it sound like running makes you cry. And this time it's going to be a call that I'm almost there and I'm so excited, and I'm still smiling, and that's what my kids should hear.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love it so much. And this has been so awesome to hear you talk about this, and definitely inspiring, because I do want to run. So I hope that other people out there who are watching feel the same way.
Great.
And with all the different contact information that I'll put down in the description box, if people have questions and stuff to be answered, would be really awesome too. And I feel like it's perfect. Your tagline, from everything else that you said, I feel like your tagline sums up our whole conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so thank you so much for being here.
You're
This
so
was
welcome.
a ton of fun.
We run in Brambleton on Wednesday mornings.
I'm gonna have to, because I just really want to.
5:15 at your Starbucks.
All right.
AM.
Yeah, because then I could be back in time to get the kids ready for school.
You will so be back in time.
I just run to Brambleton and run back. Okay, yeah.
Oh, no, Broadlands. Did I say Brambleton? I meant Broadlands.
Okay.
Broadlands Starbucks, yours. Right in the shopping center by Aldi.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. All right. Awesome. Perfect. And so we'll be in touch about that for
Great.
sure. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.